Good evening, everyone. So we're going in live. We're going live in 30 minutes. We'll be waiting for the moderator and the speaker. So I am not the speaker for today. Hi, Haikal Fehmi. So we will be waiting for our speaker and our moderator. So, but first, let's get to know each other first. Okay. So you may. I heard that they are from. We have international students. So you guys may state where are you guys from. Okay, so while waiting for the moderator to enter, so let's watch a short video first that have prepared by IUM students. Hi, Alpha Kairina. Waalaikumsalam Faiz Aswan from Gombak. Yeah, hi. Darshinin, hello, hi. Hi, Aisha. Hi, Akhya. Waalaikumsalam. Okay, let's look for another video. So while waiting for, we have like 19 viewers. Oh, 21 viewers right now. All right, thank you. So basically, our talk tonight will be talking about mental health and how do we cope with mental health. And we brought to you special guest speaker from National University of Malaysia (UKM). Maybe some of you might know him. He is known as Sir Akif bin Basri. So. Before we start, may I know does everyone in here know Miss Sir Akif? Maybe like we have a participant from UKM, or maybe some might know him from Twitter, his social media, or Instagram. Oh yeah, some of you, Shah Farzal, know him from Twitter. Yeah. Hi Ashiki. Hi Husna. Okay, we have 36 viewers right now. Okay. Thank you guys for joining this talk regarding the topic. So you guys joined this because of the talk or because of Sir Akif? Oh, thank you, Faizia from Twitter. So we have a comment. You can see that majority of you know him from Twitter, from his social media platform. Yeah. Darshini, no idea why Darshini. I because it's my project. Oh, I thank you. By the way, it's good. You still joined. Before that, I would like to introduce myself first. I'm sorry because I forgot to introduce myself. I am Anis Afika, Anis Afika, an IIUM student, and also a committee for this mental health talk. How online classes interrupt mental health. So it's nice to meet you guys. We have 39 viewers currently. Okay, we are waiting for our moderator and also our speaker for tonight to join. This event will start at 8 o'clock. So, mana-mana yang okay, kita cakap casual dulu. Mana-mana yang mungkin boleh ajak keluarga, friends, apa? Boleh ajak untuk join live kita malam ni pukul 8. Kita akan bersama dengan Sir Akif Basri, a certified clinical psychologist and also a lecturer at a local university in Malaysia, which is from National University of Malaysia, UKM. Hi Alia, hi. Okay, you guys sambil-sambil nak tengok tu, you guys boleh grab your snacks ke nak sambil macam kita relax je untuk malam ni, okay? Hello Imran, welcome and thank you for joining. Yeah, I'm also excited as you, Husna. Kita tak sabar nak tunggu kehadiran Sir Akif Basri untuk mengupas isu-isu semasa iaitu lebih kepada pelajar. Kita ada Sir Akif di talian. Hai Aina. Hai. Kita ada Sir Akif di talian tapi kita akan beri Sir Akif ruang untuk membuat sedikit persediaan. Okey, tapi sebelum tu kita akan lihat sepintas lalu video promosi dan juga intro bagi kita punya talk kita hari ini. Okey. Sementara kita menanti kehadiran moderator kita. While we are waiting for our moderator to join, so we will show you a little bit of intro and also a promotion video. So enjoy. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Right now we have our moderator here. So, tanpa melengahkan masa, saya akan berikan kita laluan kepada moderator dan juga speaker kita pada hari ini.
Oh my. So this is how I look in the YouTube. Okay. Assalamualaikum and good evening. I'm back to all the audiences. How are you? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope all of you are in the ping. You are in a good health. You are healthy physically, emotionally, spiritually, and the most important thing is you are healthy. You are mentally healthy. So, to introduce myself, I am Sarah Nabila binti Wahab. I am 21 years old. I am based in Terengganu and currently I am in my very first year in English for International Communication in IIUM Pagu, in Kuliah of Language and Management. So to start our program tonight, I would like to invite one of our male team. No, actually we only have one male in our team. Brother Shazwan Ramli to recite a dua. Okay, while waiting for our brother, just a friendly reminder, there is a link in the description box. You can click the link so that you can go to an attendance form. And yeah, you have to fill the attendance form because our e-certificate will be based on the attendance that we got from the link. So if you do not fill the form, you won't be able to get our e-certificate as we will not be able to produce your personal information. And also there is a feedback link in the description box. We welcome all of you to fill the form because it is for our improvement purposes. So we are still waiting for the prayer man. So I guess our private woman won't be able to join us tonight due to personal reasons. Why don't we start our program by reciting Al-Fatihah? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. To open the topic that we are having right now, just like what is written on the poster, our talk tonight will be focusing on how online classes are interrupting our mental health. Just like you know, we are facing this pandemic for almost a year since 16 May until today, 17 December. It is a very long time, and some of us have been in online classes for almost 7 months. An IIM student, we started our classes in 1st June and until the day. And right now we are in ninth week. So actually, why we chose our topic, why we chose this topic, it is because we are very concerned regarding the mental health of our friend. Like we have some of our friends who actually um, lost in the track. Like they choose to stop in the middle, they choose to turn back, and this is actually a very concern because when we have such friend like that, and we are always figuring out like why is this happening, why they can, why we can hold on but they can't, right? So to open it, I would like to tell you about one thing. um when we open the Twitter, when we open and we see everything that is written there, what can you see? I think, personally, I think all I can see is negative vibes. Why? Why negative vibe? Because these online classes are a little bit stuck. I know that I'm a student too. I am facing the same thing too. We don't have to go further like doing survey or doing research. Just open Twitter, just open your phone, and we can find hundred, even thousands of comments, and 90% of the comments, the feedback are actually negative. So why is this happening? Why? What is a very big deal about online classes? What is the difference between online classes and virtual classes? What is the difference actually? How this small matter, oh no, I should not say small matter. How this serious matter can actually lead to mental issues like anxiety, panic attack, and the list goes on. So today to talk about this problem, I'm sure I am not the right person to talk about this. And today we have a very special speaker that we imported from Twitter all the way to our program this evening. Um, who is a tweet famous. And to introduce you, we have Sir Muhammad Akif Basri. For those who is not familiar with him, he is a clinical psychologist, and at the same time, he is also a lecturer in a local university in Bali. So I pass you the floor, Sir Akif.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. Sarah kan?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah, our moderator today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To the MC, to all lecturers of IIUM, and also to UIA itself for inviting me to give a short sharing on this very special forum. Um, may I start?
Before that,
Yeah.
just for a mukadimah, I just want to ask you, how are you doing lately? How is your well-being? We are very concerned about that because like we as a normal person, we have this issue. And how about the professional? How is his well-being actually at this stage? Yeah.
Thank you very much for the concern. I'm doing very well, Alhamdulillah. Of course, all human beings have weaknesses. We have our limitations, even though as mental health professionals, sometimes we do get stressed. Sometimes you also get anxious. Sometimes we get burnt out with work. But there are certain coping mechanisms. We go through it every day. We are well aware of the triggers of our what triggers our mental health. So we cope with it every day, and we go through it every day. And inshallah, today I'm very excited to deliver this short speech to all of you. So, inshallah, malam ni okay.
Alhamdulillah. So, moving back to our focus tonight, what is actually the difference between physical classes and virtual classes? And we know that people keep mentioning mental health here, mental health there, and some of us actually don't understand what is mental health actually defined. They are writing about this mental health, and they are not supposed to use this term very lightly. It's something very heavy actually. And um, what is mental health actually, and how this mental health actually far how far actually can this problem go? Like from just slightly mental online classes that interrupt our mental health, and also how this mental health can actually affect our well-being.
Good question. So it's very important for us to define properly the difference between mental health issues and a mental disorder. And I think there is very much confusion and very much stigma over the term mental, even the term mental kan, macam selalu people like to use the term mental like as if it sounds crazy when you say you are mental. It's actually sometimes people refer it to crazy or psycho or weird things can, which increases the stigma of the word itself. Mental health basically is when we are in our optimum state of our psychological well-being, when we are productive, we are happy, we are at peace. Sometimes we might feel sad, sometimes we might feel worried, sometimes we might feel anxious, but that does not mean that we have a mental disorder. So it's normal for us to have fluctuating moods and negative moods. It's normal for us to, let's say, feel worried, feel demotivated about what's going on around us when we scroll through our timeline on Twitter, on IG, on TikTok. Sometimes it deteriorates our mental health, but that's okay because we are humans and we go through all these types of emotions every day. But when what is considered to be mental disorder is something different. As professionals, we diagnose a mental disorder usually based on certain criterias, in which the first criteria is whether the symptoms meet the minimum number of symptoms. For example, a depression, we need at least 6 out of 12 symptoms to be diagnosed. And it must also meet the second correct criteria, which is how long the period of the symptoms remain. For example, for depression, it must remain for more than 14 days consecutively, and most of the day and most of the time. And also it must meet the third criteria, which is it interferes significantly with our daily life functioning, which it interferes with our mood, our focus, our ability to make decisions, our ability to socialize, our ability to think rationally, our sleep, our appetite. So significantly interferes with daily life functioning means that we can no longer do what we usually do routinely on a daily basis, and it significantly interferes what we normally do at that time. And of course, it must be diagnosed by a professional. We can't diagnose ourselves through Google and without seeing a professional. So basically, that is what differentiates between normal mental health issues that we face every day and those who have a mental disorder. And to answer your second question, how far does online learning affect mental health? Well, actually, even before the pandemic started, uh, people's mental health was already worrying. Statistics showed that in Malaysia, more than 500,000 Malaysian adults show symptoms of depression. Meanwhile, our adolescents aged 13 to 17 years old, they show 2 out of 5 show anxiety, 1 out of 5 show depression, and 1 out of 10 show stress symptoms. And also, the rates of suicidal ideation, suicidal plan, and suicidal attempt has increased since 2012 to 2015. And worldwide, globally, depression is the leading cause of health problem that leads to disability. And every 40 seconds, someone dies by suicide. And all of that are statistics even before the pandemic started. So after the pandemic, research worldwide, globally, shows that there is an increase of symptoms of anxiety, depression, trauma, stress. And even though there is not yet a nationwide research in Malaysia, but some statistics from PDRM, from Jabatan Bomba, and also from MOH itself shows that rates of suicidal plans, suicidal attempts, and also suicidal completions are increasing in Malaysia as well. So that is what happens, or the effects of mental health due to the COVID-19. So basically, the mental health of generally almost the majority of people worldwide are deteriorating due to the pandemic. So it's not necessarily the online learning itself, but the pandemic itself deteriorates people's mental health. But of course, there are certain aspects of online learning that might affect or worsen students' mood or mental health. There are certain aspects. There are actually research. So actually, research shows that for some people, online learning deteriorates mental health, but for some people, online learning improves their mental health. So that's quite interesting to share about later on. But yeah, of course, answering your question, there are certain aspects of online learning that does relate to deterioration of mental health problems.
So listening to what you said, like in the early of 13, some of them are exposed to depression factor and depression risk. So what is actually the factor that leads to this mental issue and also mental health?
There, when we talk about the risk factors that leads to mental disorders or mental health issues, usually it's not a one causing factor. Usually it's a combination of multiple risk factors. predisposingly, someone can be predisposed to a mental disorder or to mental health issues due to genetics. And also predisposingly, someone can be at higher risk of a mental disorder due to a traumatic or adverse childhood events. For example, being physically abused or verbally abused, or being bullied at school. So, a childhood adverse events can lead to mental health problems later on in life. And there are also precipitating factors. For example, of course, maybe the pandemic, which none of us expected would happen. Um, Perhaps also due to stress of online learning, for example. Let's say a student is learning at home, and but at the same time their families or the parents expect them to do the house chores as well, to take care of the younger brother, maybe perhaps to cook, to wash the dishes, to clean the clothes. But for themselves, they have a tight schedule from morning until evening, and then they have their own assignments, they have their own group discussions, and they also are tired, they are burnt out, they lack sleep. So that maybe also can trigger some mental health issues or mental health disorders. Perhaps also there is some a big or major trigger event that happened in their life. For example, a breakup from a loved one and the difficulty to move on, or perhaps problems financially, or difficulties due to overwhelming assignments, difficulties adjusting to this online or this new way of online learning, so that all of that may precipitate some mental health issues. And there are certain factors that perpetuate mental health issues. For example, not talking to anyone about it, or perhaps just bottling it up, or perhaps some people cope in a wrong way, or what we call the maladaptive way, such as they may take alcohol, they may take drugs, or they may try to harm themselves in order to cope, but that doesn't help in the long run, of course. So that perpetuates or maintains the mental health issues. So there are multiple risk factors that leads to a mental health issue or mental disorder. So that's why we can't judge anyone or simply make simple conclusions about anyone's mental health, including saying that someone lacks a religion, or someone has low levels of iman or low levels of spirituality. I think that does not help the person, but I think that leads to more stigma and makes the person feel offended.
So I see. But what concerns me the most is the part that you mentioned about the genetics. I believe that no matter how healthy the last one is, if there are an inherited any genetic from the previous family, it becomes unavoidable to from mental health. So, how actually this develop? Maybe they do not have the a traumatic event, the breakup. They are actually having a very healthy lifestyle, but how this genetic, how can I say this? How it actually formed? Huh.
Genetic susceptibility just increases the possibility of someone developing a certain type of mental disorder, but is not a causing factor. That means that, for example, let's say we have 5 siblings. Kita ada 5 adik-beradik kan. And then we have a mother who is depressed, for example. So all of us have maybe the genetics, the genetic susceptibility towards being depressed, but maybe just one of our siblings turn out to have depression when they grow older, and the other 4 does not have depression. It's not only the main factor. We can there are ways to cope with it. There are ways to make sure the symptoms does not ascend. There are coping mechanisms that everyone can use that can help us to have a better well-being, in which we call the biopsychosocial spiritual model. So it means that even though we do have certain perhaps certain percentages of genetic susceptibility towards mental disorder, but we can still improve our mental health by doing more exercise, eating healthily, getting good quality sleep, knowing our triggering factors well and coping well, and having good social support, and having strong levels of spirituality, for example. So there are ways to cope with it, and I wouldn't say it's a causing factor. It's just one of the risk factors.
So I see that genetic is not actually a big effect. So the most important thing is we have to have a good lifestyle, and just like what you mentioned earlier, we have to know on how to deal with the stress instead of blaming the genetic factor 100%. It depends on us actually on how do we cope the stress itself. So before this, I heard you have mentioned about mental health and also mental disorder. And I'm not quite clear about that part. Would you explain what does mental health and mental disorder mean?
Basically, mental disorder is an illness, an illness, and mental health issues is normal. Mental health issues is what we deal with every day, such as sometimes we have sadness, sometimes we worry, we are stressed, and we are worried that, for example, we have too many assignments, and we are worried that we might not have the time to complete all the assignments and perform very well in this semester, for example. So that makes us worry, and that makes us anxious and perhaps stressed. But that does not mean that we have a mental disorder. A mental disorder means that we meet the enough number of symptoms to be diagnosed. It also means that the symptoms that we feel or the symptoms that we portray persists for a longer period of time. For example, longer than 2 weeks, longer than 1 month, longer than 6 months. Each diagnosis has its own frame of time for the symptoms to show and for it to be diagnosed. And most importantly, the most, I would say, differentiating factor among between mental health issues and mental disorder is actually to what extent does the symptoms affect the life of the person? Does it affect the life significantly, or can the person just grow out of it? Can the person just cope with it easily? So to what extent the issue affects the person? That is the, I would say, the line between what is a disorder and what is not a disorder. Syarah, ni kena unmute. Saya tak dengar.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry for that. We seem to face this pandemic and online classes for longer time than we expect. You know, we might have this for few months later. And in your opinion, in your professionalism opinion, what is the simplest way for us to deal with these online classes? And what is the least that we can do in order for us to avoid ourselves from being exposed to this mental issue?
I think this is a very important question. So if I may share some slides to answer this question, is that okay?
Yeah, sure. We would like to see what you have got for us tonight.
Okay, so can you see my slides?
Yes, we can see it clearly.
Okay. So I'll skip to the part where, yeah, okay. So basically, the question was what can we do to cope with this online learning period and at the same time take care of our mental health. Okay. Basically, what we all have four elements in ourselves. We have our physical body or our biology. We have our psychology. We have our social, and we also have our spiritual part. So, in a nutshell, we need to balance all these four aspects in ourselves for us to achieve a good mental well-being. But if I may add that the online learning does not, for it to be effective and for us to go through it healthily, does not only depend on the students, but also the environment, the lecturer, and the policies made by the government. So the students, they have their role, but it's not just them to be blamed. We all have our roles to play to ensure that online learning goes efficiently, smoothly, effectively, and in a way that also improves and helps our mental health as well. So the first would be the individual or the student himself or herself. So what can the student do? Okay, so basically I divided this into two subtopics, which is the healthy lifestyle and some online studying tips. Okay, so actually before this, I already mentioned that we need to have a healthy lifestyle, including a good quality sleep. Sleep sounds cliche. When people say get good sleep, it's something we hear almost every day, and it's not something new. And people might also get bored listening to people saying get good sleep, but actually it's very important because poor sleep, poor quality sleep can really interfere with our mood, and it can really make a bad day for us. But good sleep can actually improve our mood significantly. So sleep is, I would say, a very, very important factor that can influence our mood. So please prioritize sleeping during the night, not during the class, okay? During the night. Okay, and also, of course, eat and drink healthily, exercise consistently, but most importantly, I know that sometimes these days, maybe at some states, we can't go out frequently because it's not that safe. But more importantly, is that because we have classes, like say from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. every day, it's very, very important to us to move every 30 minutes. Don't let yourself sit still without moving for more than 30 minutes because it's very, very risky to our physical health and to our mental health. Okay, so for those who sit still without moving, they have a higher possibility of developing many physical illnesses, and also it really affects their mental health, and of course it affects their focus and attention. So it's very important for us to move every 30 minutes. Just do regular exercises, such as, those kind of exercises, warm up exercises. For example, pushing your head up and then pushing your head down and then to the side, and then your arms. Just make sure you do like a simple warm up exercises, and that really makes a big difference to your physical and mental health. So this is very important as well. And also be aware of your triggering factors. Sometimes it may help if you list down what are your triggering factors, and also learn new ways on how to cope. Different people have different ways to cope with their stress. So try it's like a trial and error journey for every one of us. So try to find out what works best for you, and of course talk to people who you trust, even though we can't meet them face to face. But there's always, due to the advanced technology, we can always FaceTime, we can Google Meet, we can Zoom, we can Skype. So it's not too difficult to maintain social relationships with our friends. And or you have all the right to avoid toxic people to protect your mental health. And of course, don't forget to increase your levels of spirituality. Okay, and then I would like to add, apart from our healthy lifestyle, I would like to add some online studying tips for the students. Okay, the first is to set daily goals and to reward yourself only after you have achieved your goal. For example, set daily goals such as today, I would like to do 1 page of my assignment, for example, just 1 page of my assignment. Or perhaps write 2 pages of your assignment. And only after you have finished writing, then you may reward yourself. Maybe you can have some chocolates. Maybe you can go for a drive-through at your favorite restaurant. Maybe you can watch a series on Netflix. So make sure you reward yourself after you have finished your goal on that day. But make sure you do have a goal, because if we don't have a goal, we tend to follow the flow, and we tend to delay things into the last minute, and then up to the last minute, then we become overwhelmed and stressed. But actually, that may be due to poor management of time and not setting goals every day. So that makes the work delayed, and it compiles up, and then makes us overwhelmed. But if we do have daily goals, it will become much better, and we will become it's actually a more healthy lifestyle to have our goal settings every day, and then to reward ourselves after we have achieved our goal. Okay, it's also very important to create a dedicated study space for ourselves. I know it's not ideal for everyone, because some people share rooms with their siblings. Some people need to sit on the floor. Some people don't have their own laptop. Some people need to sit in front of the television. So it depends, but I would say try your best to have your own comfortable working space, because it's very important for you to distract yourself from noise, from very important for you to have your own comfortable chair, so that you can focus and be more comfortable in the place that you will be spending from morning to evening. And it's not only about the study space, but it's actually about the ergonomics. Ergonomics is the making your table, your chair comfortable, so that it does not cause you physical pain. If, for example, if you can see my slides, our backbone is actually like an S shape, like this. So we need a chair that helps to support our backbone. Okay, so the best is like a chair that has macam apa orang kata dia tak flat macam tu, tetapi dia macam dia ada lekuk sikit, so that it supports our backbone. But it's okay if we don't have a chair like this, we can just put a pillow at our back so that it supports our back. Okay. And also, this is the ergonomics of the correct sitting posture. Basically, try to adjust your seat so that the table or the keyboard is perpendicular to your arms. Okay, dia sederet dia macam ni. Okay, dia tak adalah macam ke bawah sangat ataupun ke atas sangat. But at the same time, make sure both of your feet are flat and rested. So if your feet is hanging, or you are sitting by your toes with a tiptoe, then you need to have something to support your feet underneath your feet, so that it can rest, and your feet can have support underneath. And also make sure your screen, your eyes are on the top side of your screen, so that you don't have to apa orang kata macam bongkok untuk tengok screen. Okay, make sure you can sit properly, sit apa kata straight, but at the same time you must have a pillow. If your chair is not comfortable, if it does not support your backbone, make sure you have a pillow behind your back. Okay, so in this way, if you sit in this what we call the ergonomic way, it will decrease chances of you having back pain, neck pain, and all physical pains all around your body after you have finished class. If you sit on the floor, or if your comfort your chair is uncomfortable, then there is a high possibility that you will have pains all over your body, and that is not good for your physical health and also your mental health. Okay. And also to another tips is to actively take notes while the lecturer is speaking, so that you can remain focused, and to actively join discussions and ask questions. Okay. So just be proactive, ask questions, join discussions, so that you are on track and you don't let yourself feel isolated from the class. So it's very important for you to engage with other people in the class. Okay. So other factors include environmental factors, the lecturer factors, and also the policies made by the government and all. But I think to answer this question, I will stop here. Nanti panjang sangat pula. Okay. Okay, I'll stop. Share my screen.
Mm, I like how you say you have to set the goal and reward yourself. I have something to share. During my diploma year, I have a classmate, roommate. Um, I look at how she doing her assignment, and I found that it is very interesting. Like, she told me she always reward herself by doing one page of assignment. Then she rewards herself by watching one Korean drama. Then it goes just like that. How long her assignment depends on her Korean drama. If I think it is a very good good way lah. Like, but the thing is, you have to be very disciplined. Just like you said earlier, you have to have the determination, or you will tend to procrastinate or delay the job. Yeah, and the third one that you said, correct, sitting posture. How about those who don't have the like personal desk or personal chair? Like, do you have any alternative way for them, so that they are um so that their sitting posture will be better? You know, some of us might not have the fortune to have personal table and chair. Even some chair might not be as good as we have now, the one with the certain sizes and certain shape. How do you think we're going to deal with it?
Okay. If we don't have the luxury to buy the comfortable chairs and comfortable workplace, I would say we can adjust what we have. Make sure you have a pillow on your back, and make sure your foot is resting. So put something underneath your foot so that it rests. But actually, the most important thing is not the workstation, but the most important thing is actually you move every 30 minutes. And that is more important than your workstation. So everyone can move. It doesn't need any money. Anyone can move, and you all of you can do the indoor exercises. So just move your hands, move your head, move your legs every 30 minutes. That is really, really important because it really protects you from developing into many, many types of physical and mental health issues.
Okay. Well, I think that will help some of us in the life. Um, I, I remember the first place you told me that this mental health is not actually related to religious. You know, some people say if you are having depression, then pray more lah and read Quran more lah. some of us might not have clear clear explanation on how this actually not related. Can you briefly explain how it's actually not related to each other? Because I think some of us are misunderstanding this issue.
Okay. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to clarify this because it's very important. First of all, spirituality does indeed influence or have its it can influence our mood. Okay, spirituality itself. For example, on the days that for Muslims, for example, on the days that we read more Quranic verses, perhaps on days where we even do some tadabbur or we read through the meanings of the Quranic verses, on the days where we uh, perform more prayers, on the days where we let's say we wake up for tahajjud before subuh. Of course, there is a higher chance for us to feel more at peace and calmer. And then there is even a a verse in Surah Al-Ra'ad, if I'm not mistaken, it's ayat 28, if I'm not mistaken, which Allah says that if you remember me, you will be at more peace and you will be calmer. So of course, spirituality can affect our mood. And on the opposite side, if we commit big sins or if we do things that we feel guilty due to it being wrong in religion, of course, there is a higher chance that we will feel uncomfortable, we will feel guilty. So, of course, uh, spirituality and religion for some people can affect someone's mood and how they feel. But when we talk about a mental disorder, it's something different. It's not just about our mood, but it's actually an illness that is that occurs due to multiple and many the combination of many risk factors, and it's really difficult to pinpoint the main reason of why this person has developed the mental illness. That's why we have a combination of biopsychosocial spiritual model to explain how it can relate to mental illness. We also have many different of models such as the 4P, the predisposing factors, the precipitating factors, the perpetuating factors, the protective factors. We also have another model called the diathesis stress model, in which it means that a mental disorder is due to the combination of genetic factors and also environmental factors. So it's very complex, and it's developed from time to time, and it's a combination of many complex risk factors. So that's why we cannot say or we cannot pinpoint that it is caused due to someone's low lack in faith or low in spirituality or low levels of iman, or because the person hasn't prayed enough or read Al-Quran enough. So that's what I mean by saying that we cannot pinpoint or judge someone having a mental illness due to lack in faith. But of course, spirituality does affect our daily mood every day, but it does not cause a mental illness.
I see. Oh yeah, a friendly reminder to the audience. For those who have yet to register the attendance form, kindly do so by clicking the link that we have put in the description box. And also, we have also put a link for feedback form. We are very glad if you have some time to fill the feedback. So going back to the topic, actually, sir, I saw that you have prepared a lot of slides we have presented before. So we are very curious if you have anything to share regarding this mental issue, or do you have any specific topic that you would like to share with us that you have an opportunity for this evening?
Okay. So as I mentioned before, when we talk about online learning, it's not just the students that we need to focus on, but also the lecturers also need to have some knowledge of how to teach online. So if I may share the best practices, I would say that a teacher or a lecturer can adapt to in their teaching. So even though that a majority of you who are watching are students, but it's good for you to know that what is actually the best practice that a lecturer can do. I took this based on Dr. Jodie Katz, who is a clinical psychologist and also a neuropsychologist. And she has more than 15 years of experience of teaching online. And I adapted this from her slides and her sharings, which was verified by American Psychological Association. So basically, the role of lecturers, they have three main roles. The first is pedagogical, the second is social, and the third is technical. Okay, so what is pedagogical? Pedagogical is actually the knowledge and in teaching and educating. So basically, I like to share this quote that students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So which means that it's very important for us lecturers to actually show that we care about the students. We know their names, we greet them, we welcome them, we respect them, we include them in the discussion, we want to know their opinions, we ask about their how they are doing, we ask their feedback. So being cared for makes students become more engaged. So that's the lecturer's role, to make the students feel that they are being cared for. Okay. So basically, it's very important for lecturers to explain the learning objectives, the course overview, and have interactive activities, and also to create discussions for students to participate. And the second role of lecturers is for the social role, which is to increase student engagement and create a sense of community among the students. So I like to share this quote that students are more likely to be engaged if they feel respected and valued by their teachers and peers, and if they feel that they belong to the classroom and community. Okay, so basically, we want everyone to feel that they are included in the classroom. They are respected. They are acknowledged. Their presence is acknowledged, and not we don't want anyone to feel isolated in the classroom, even though it's online classroom. So personalization is where we call out the student's name and we ask their opinions. If we respect their opinions, we ask them things that are related to their background. For example, I'm teaching international students in UKM. So my students are from China, from Indonesia, from Philippines, and also from Malaysia. So during a lecture, what I do is actually I have sometimes I put pictures of the Indonesian president, and I ask the students how they feel about their president. I also learn Mandarin. I also learn Mandarin so that I can communicate better with my Chinese students. The Chinese students mean that the students are from China, not the Malaysian Chinese students. Okay, so I go to the point of learning their language so that I can speak to them better, and I think it really makes them feel engaged and included in the class. And we always thank them for being participative. We show that we appreciate all their questions, all their opinions, so that it's more everyone feels acknowledged and respected in the classroom. And we also I ask for feedback. How is my teaching? How can I improve better? And from that I know how to improve, and what can help them to learn better, I would say. So asking for feedback is not when during the end of the semester when they rate us in the system, but during the middle semester, during after our few classes, maybe we can ask them for feedback so that we know how to tailor our teaching so that it suits them better. And of course, the third role of a lecturer is technical roles, which is for lecturers to be more familiar with the learning management platforms such as Zoom, Kahoot, or Loom, or also have resources at hand to resolve technical issues. So basically, lecturers too, they need to know how to use these technical things. They need to know, they need to be more experienced and competent, I would say, in handling technical issues so that it doesn't interrupt the learning itself. Okay, so and apart from lecturers, actually, I would say that it's very important for the Ministry of Higher Education to also have their own online teaching quality standards so that these lecturers have something, a guidance to refer to so that they can improve their teaching better. So it's very important to have our own online teaching gold standard so that everyone, it becomes a standard that everyone needs to adhere to. Okay, so yeah, I would say that that would be all for apa the tips from the I've answered the question about the tips for the students and also the tips for the lecturers. But I would say that the main point that I would like to share is actually for students, we need to try our best to control what we can control. So try your best to take notes, to participate, be more active, set daily goals, and reward yourself and move every 30 minutes. So try your best to, in whatever you can do, what is in your control, to that can help you to learn better and also improve your mental health. And there are certain factors you can't control. For example, the lecturer's way of teaching, the amount of assignments that they give. These are things that we can't control. So we need to do things that we can control, and hopefully other parties will do the same as well.
Well, thank you, Sir Akif, for sharing the very brilliant tips. So I would like to recap few tips that was mentioned. The first one is set daily goal and reward yourself. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you know that everything that you do is actually very valuable and matters. Okay. The second one is create a dedicated study place. We all know that some of us might not be able to have a chair or comfortable places with internet connection is not very well. Some of us might not have laptop, but do as much as you can do. anything that makes you comfortable, just go with it. The third one is correct sitting posture. That is to me personally, it is very hard because on the chair, me personally, I would prefer to sit with my leg bersila. You know, like right now I'm really bersila and really like it hits me on my face like I'm listening to a lecture about sitting posture, but I am duduk bersila. But it is very hard actually when you are comfortable and it doesn't matter if it gives you a long term, even if you enjoy it. And the fourth one is actively take note during lecture. I actually have a very big concern regarding this. Um, Me personally, if my lecturer is teaching, I would prefer to listen to them and not taking note. And something like I have to be multitasking, but while taking note, I have to listen to them. Do you have any tips for this?
I
Personally, as
think
a
yeah, if you are comfortable in that way, then it's all right. It doesn't have to be just a one way, but it's just that maybe I can share that between typing and writing, actually writing increases your memory and makes you more alert. So actually,
yes,
the purpose of writing handwriting is actually to make you more alert and so that you can really focus on the studying. But if you find it distracting and you would rather listen first, then I would say that is no problem because every person has their own different styles.
okay. Thank you for the tips. I think it is very benefit for me because I am the one who is like very struggling on how to take note while listening. It's very hard for me. So actually, how actually we deal with someone who is actually thinking that my problem is actually bigger than your problem. You don't know my struggle. Like we all know different people are struggling with different problem, you know, like this girl is facing with internet connection, this girl is dealing with a parent who is not good at understanding, while this person who has her own room, but she just doesn't have her own privacy. How do we deal with them? Because you know they are keep comparing their problem with each other, and you know they always want to be like my problem is the worst. You don't know my problem. How are we going to put into words in order to motivate them?
Hmm. Um, I think it begins with our mindset that we have we believe in a myth that what we feel uh, is we like to equalize our problems with what others feel. We tend to downplay others' problems, or we tend to give quick solutions without understanding someone's problem. We don't, I think we need to listen more to each other so that we understand someone's context of the problem better before we give any advices or quick fix solutions that doesn't help. So it's actually more of our mindset of being, I would say, to suspend our judgment before we know the whole context and the whole story of someone. Because sometimes we are too quick to judge another person, and that doesn't help. What helps is actually we empathize, we listen, we try to put ourselves in other people's shoes, and trying to making an effort to constantly understand people's from their perspectives. That helps us understand and feel the person better and not to make early premature conclusions and judgments.
I see. Thank you for the answer. And your question actually lead to another question that comes into my mind. You said just now solutions, and after what we have talked through the whole program, there is something popping. Like we keep talking about mental health and mental disorder. Okay, so if someone around us, like maybe our friend or our roommate, are having this mental issues, what is the best way to deal with it? Like, we all know that words are not working to anyone. They sometimes need hand gesture, body gesture, or something like that. How are we going to deal with this person? Or some people they tend to stay alone, where sometimes we may not be able to provide it. So, what do you think it is the best solution for to deal with this person?
Hmm. The best help as a friend that we can do, I would say the first is to offer help. We can say something like, if you need someone to talk to, then I'm ready to listen. So it's not too, orang kata, jaga tepi kain orang, dia tak menyebuk sangat. But at the same time, it's just nice to offer help, and to offer that you can lend your ear, if the person is ready to talk about it. And if the person does come to talk about it to you, then I would say try your best to become a good listener. Listen, try to focus on the feelings. Don't try to avoid um, talking too much. Try to avoid making early premature conclusions, judgments. Try to avoid giving toxic advices that maybe doesn't help. Just try to listen, show your presence, try to understand the person from their perspective. Don't talk about yourself, but focus on the person who is talking. Um, so I think it's very important for us to become good listeners, to be empathic, and also it's very important as well to encourage the person to get professional help, because as a friend we might have our own limitations in as to help the person. So it's good to encourage the person to get help, so that we as friends or caregivers, we have a team that can help our friend who is having the mental disorder or mental illness or mental health issues, and they don't depend on us alone. Sebab kadang-kadang bila kita jadi kawan kan, they there is a high possibility that they will become dependent on us, and on us, and that's we don't want that to happen. We want to have a team that can help the person, so that is better for us and for them as well.
I see. Thank you. Because I asked this question because I have a friend who she has anxiety attack, like, and she is away from me. Like, we are distant from each other. The least, the least, and the most that we can do is asking her, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Please take a water." If it doesn't help, then lie down. Take off anything that is tight from your body. That is the least I can do, and I think it feels bad. As a friend, it feels very bad that we won't be able to help her. But when she, just like you said, just like if they are comfortable in that way, then we have to respect what she wants. For example, just by listening to her, then it will help instead of us telling nonsense solution. It will be very good for us just to listen. Um, so I guess that will be all for this session. And thank you, Dr. Sir Akif, for your words. But I will be asking you to talk more after this because for the next session we will have Q&A session where the question will come from our audiences and we will pick few for you to answer. They want to communicate with you. So Q&A I think um is the best platform. So moving on to the next session for our program. Other than Sir Akif, we also have another special guest that we imported also from Kuliah of Language and Management. Um, just like I said earlier, in Twitter we can find a lot of complaints, feedback, comments regarding online classes, this pandemic, as a student. But have we ever thought that there are another person who is suffering too? During online classes, remember we have someone behind the screen who are struggling in order to put the best for us. So for this time, we have a lecturer from IIUM Pago, Dr. Suhaisi bin Suhaimi, to share his experience and point of view as an educator during his online classes. Also, we can also listen to his challenges of what that he have faced during online classes. Well, Assalamualaikum, Cik Ji.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Maybe we can, using bahasa also, is it?
Sure, why not? Why not? Jadi, pertama kali saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada Cik Ji untuk meluangkan sedikit masa untuk program kami. Di sini kami ingin mengusulkan sedikit pertanyaan lah kepada Cik Ji mengenai apa yang Cik Ji hadapi sepanjang kelas atas talian dan juga apa cabaran-cabaran yang dihadapi oleh Cik Ji sebagai seorang pensyarah dalam usaha untuk memberi yang terbaik pada pelajarnya. Sebab mungkin ada segelintir pelajar yang tak faham. Diorang ni macam di sini bagi banyak assignment padahal online kot bagilah macam kurang sikit. Ni makin lama makin banyak dah, kenapa lah tu. Tapi tak ada pun, macam reka je. But I want to introduce to the audience. Cik Ji is my lecturer for my Bahasa Melayu. He is performing very well in class. I like him a lot.
Ujian kan?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. I pass you the floor.
Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pertama, saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada pihak penganjur dan juga pelajar saya sendiri, Datuk Sarah Nabila sebagai moderator pada malam ni, dan kepada penganjur ataupun komiti-komiti yang lain yang menjemput saya sebagai, bila saya tengok tu, special guest. Wow, tetamu istimewa lah ni, dikatakan begitu. Jadi saya macam, oh, tetamu istimewa. Tapi yelah, dia tak berapa istimewa sebab saya minta maaf. Ni bukannya, ini selalu saya sebut dalam kelas, iaitu ni bukan keluhan, ni adalah luahan perasaan saja. Saya tak mengeluh, saya ingin meluahkan saja. Bersesuaian lah dengan topik hari ni yang mental health ni, jangan pendam lah. Jadi dia kena banyak bercakap, tapi dia bukan mengeluh. Iaitu saya minta maaf juga, mungkin line ataupun capaian internet malam ni kurang baik. Saya pun berada di bukan di KLM atau di Pago. Selalunya kalau untuk di Pago line internet tu agak okey, agak baik. Cuma malam ni saya berada dalam kereta, jadi dan di sini saja tempat yang paling sesuai untuk saya berada bersama kalian untuk berkongsi pengalaman saya lah mengenai mental health ataupun kesihatan minda ataupun kesihatan mental ni lah. Okay. Terus kepada jawapan ke Sarah Nabila, saudari moderator? Ke terus, dia terus tinggalkan saya ke macam mana ni?
Tak, ada je kat sini. Ada je. Nampak je.
Tinggalkan saya kesorangan.
Apa dia?
Tinggalkan saya kesorangan.
Tak ada. Ada je sebelah ni. Jadi Encik Ji boleh kongsikan lah macam pengalaman Cik Ji. Kita dah 7 bulan dah hadapi kelas atas talian. Jadi mungkin ada yang cikgu boleh dah biasakan sebab yelah dah lama dah kan kita dah online class ni. Macam kita boleh dah biasakan. Tapi ada part yang masih lagi susah ni nak terima. Mungkin cikgu boleh kongsi lah.
Baik, terima kasih saudari moderator Serana Bila. Dia punya cabaran mana-mana pun saya boleh kata yang dalam talian ke ataupun secara bersemuka atau face to face pun dia memang akan ada banyak cabaran lah. Dan dia semakin mencabar lagi apabila kita dapat lihat semester lepas lah, apabila suasana buat kelas seperti yang sedang berlaku sekarang ni. Aljaz, saya rasa kalau mental health ni bukan musim BKP, saya rasa saya dah bersebelahan dengan Sarah Nabila, betul tak? Jadi moderator tu kan. Jadi saya Sir Akif tadi pun sebagai tetamu juga yang boleh bersemuka. Cabaran tetap ada. Walaupun kita dapat lihat bila dalam talian, dalam talian, tak payahlah kita bersiap-siap berpakaian kacak-kacak, pakaian yang yang formal, yang kemas, dan tak perlu bersiap awal untuk ke kelas bila kata dalam talian. Tapi tetap juga cabarannya apabila saya sebagai pensyarah, saya nak cerita ni bukan sebab saya ni sudah berada dalam dunia mengajar atau pensyarahan terlalu lama. Dia berdasarkan pengalaman saya sajalah. Saya percaya di luar sana lebih ramai lagi sebenarnya yang lebih banyak pengalaman daripada saya. Saya berkongsi sebagai seorang yang hanyalah orang pengalaman lah. Tapi nak juga kongsi, tak kira juga nak kongsi juga. Jadi kena terima juga. Apabila contoh yang saya mulakan dengan pertama tu, kedatangan kelas. Cabaran pertama kedatangan kelas, iaitu dalam talian kita terpaksa untuk sebagai orang yang mengendalikan contoh Google Meet, saya kena admit ataupun luluskan kalian yang masuk kelas saya tu seorang. Saya tahu sekarang ni dah ada yang admit all untuk Google Meet dan sebagainya, tapi itu masih lagi memerlukan masa yang agak lama dan sampai boleh tahap menjadi setengah jam hanya untuk ambil kehadiran. Berbeza kan dengan secara bersemuka apabila kehadiran punya senarai kertas kita edarkan terus dan saya terus boleh membebel dan terus mengajar dan tanpa segan silu saya terus ke sana ke sini mengajar dan akhir habis kelas saya terus dapat satu helaian kertas yang awak dah tanda. Berbeza dengan dalam talian, iaitu saya kena dulu memastikan kehadiran untuk datang. Dan cabaran yang mendatang selepas itu ialah saya kena pastikan ni kenapa tak ramai ni? Kenapa ramai lagi tak ada ni? Itu antara cabaran saya. Dan saya kena cakap dengan pelajar iaitu kejut kawan tu. Sebab saya, untuk pengetahuan kelas saya setiap hari 8.30 pagi. Setakat ni lah mungkin di hadapan saya ni setakat ni saya paling lewat pun macam mungkin 8.40, 8.50 macam tu lah. Cuma ada yang mungkin ada juga pelajar yang dah dekat 40 minit baru tiba-tiba muncul request tu untuk masuk dalam untuk dalam Google Meet tersebut. Jadi ini sedikit mengganggu sebenarnya. Dan ada saya percaya setengah daripada kalian mungkin ada pensyarahnya yang tidak langsung membenarkan masuk sekiranya sudah lewat. Jadi itu saya sebagai seorang tenaga pengajar jugalah, saya saya bukan ke arah yang itulah. Iaitu saya lebih kepada saya membenarkan saja sebab saya faham keadaan situasi capaian internet yang tidak bagus dan juga mungkin ada sebelum ni ada kelas dengan subjek lain yang mungkin terlewat sikit subjek lain tu, awak ada pembentangan sebagainya dan baru nak masuk kelas saya, jadi kebanyakan saya membenarkan saja. Seterusnya apabila cabaran yang seterusnya saya hadapi apabila bertanya soalan. Okey, bertanya soalan iaitu bila bertanya soalan krik krik krik. Macam sekarang ni saya tak tahulah sebenarnya awak dengar ke tak apa saya cakap ni. Mungkin saya tahu Sarah Nabila yang dengar. Yang lain saya kurang pasti sebab saya menggunakan telefon bimbit saja. Saya tak nampak secara keseluruhan komen kalian dan sebagainya. Jadi cabaran di situ apabila dia seakan mematikan mood seorang tenaga pengajar. Bila saya pompang, kadang-kadang hanya untuk bertanya kepada respon soalan ini je. Faham atau tidak, itu je pun. tak ada yang respon. Kadang-kadang nak tanya betul ke tidak. Kadang-kadang itu punya jawapan pun saya nak betul atau tidak pun kadang-kadang tidak ada respon. Itu cabaran yang sepanjang mengajar dalam talian lah. Seterusnya pula dalam sepanjang tu tiba ada yang left, ada yang punya saya tak tahulah itu trik ke apa, sebab saya pun baru perasan trik ni, iaitu apabila saya tanya soalan tiba-tiba si dia tu akan left group atau left Google Meet. Saya tahulah itu taktik atau sebagainya, tapi ada yang mengatakan, oh kalau ada orang tanya kau left je, selamatlah kau. Saya tak tahu itu betul atau tidak. Kadang-kadang saya pun mengalami benda tu apabila saya bertanya, kenapa left? Itu cabarannya lah. Dan dalam kelas dalam talian ni, dia lebih kena banyak bersabar berbanding bersemuka. Okay, bersemuka masih ada lagi lah dia punya cabaran. Tapi dalam talian ni, bersemuka tu dalam talian ni dia punya cabarannya lagilah kena banyak bersabar dan bersangka baik. Itu yang selalu saya pesan diri saya. Mungkin yang pensyarah lain ada cara atau tekniknya tersendiri, tapi saya selalu pesan diri saya bahawa mungkin pelajar tu ini, mungkin pelajar ni ini, mungkin itu. Jadi untuk saya sendiri nak kurangkan marah ataupun rasa geram. Jadi saya akan banyak bersangka baik lah. Berhadapan dengan cabaran-cabaran yang seterusnya. Dan ada lagi bila kita dalam talian kita akan cenderung untuk ada WhatsApp group kan, WhatsApp group. Ni pun saya nak pesan lah kepada diri saya juga dan kepada pelajar-pelajar yang lain. Cabaran yang saya hadapi, mungkin ni pendedahan eksklusif lah kot kan, sebagai seorang pensyarah. Apabila pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang diajukan dalam WhatsApp group tu adalah pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang sudah diterangkan banyak kali, yang sudah ada arahannya pun secara jelas, tapi tetap ditanya. Saya tahu malu bertanya sesat jalan, tapi banyak bertanya nampak benar. Tak fokusnya. Jangan suruh saya cakap merepek pula. Jadi saya nak memberi satu pendedahan eksklusif bahawa sebelum pertanyaan itu diajukan, tak salah nak bertanya. Saya memang suka orang bertanya dan saya suka tengok respon-respon. Tapi bila nak bertanya tu, pastikan ini sudah diterangkan atau tak. Dan paling mudah tanya kawan-kawan yang awak yakin dia ialah memang selalu fokus dalam kelas, yang memang kata ini dia ni kalau tanya jawab, dia ni kalau tanya ni memang dia dapat jawab ni. Tanya dia dulu, apa salahnya? Cik Je dia cakap tak pasal ni. Mungkin awak terlepas pandang disebabkan capaian internet awak yang kurang baik. Jadi awak tanya dulu. Sebab sekiranya anda bertanya soalan yang sudah banyak kali diterangkan oleh pensyarah, terpek dalam WhatsApp group, naik notification tu. Encik G nak tanya, tek. Saya sebagai insan yang lemah, insan yang biasa, insan yang boleh dikatakan ada hati dan nurani, yang mungkin boleh marah, boleh terasa. Bila membaca soalan tersebut, saya agak akan kecewa. Ini pendedahan eksklusif ni. Ini bukan sebab nak memalukan sesiapa, dia adalah pendedahan eksklusif. Pertama, dia adalah kecewa apabila sudah diterangkan banyak kali. Siap dalam kelas, faham ke tidak? Oh, senyap. Faham dah tu. Betul ke tidak? Oh, senyap. Diam tanda setuju. Okey, betul. Ada lagi tak nak tanya? Tak ada. Tiba-tiba tanya. Sedangkan saya dah berbuih-buih cakap. Jadinya saya tahulah ni adalah satu kifarah untuk saya. Mungkin saya pun dulu masa zaman belajar macam tu kot. Dia tak fokus. Tiba-tiba bila saya tanya balik, pensyarah cakap, saya dah terangkan. Sekarang hadaplah saya balik. Wallahu alam, saya tak pasti. Cuma bila saya dah hadapi benda tu, saya nak pesan dekat adik-adik. Adik-adik pelajar-pelajar sekalian atau penonton atau hadirin sekalian, bahawa elakkan perkara-perkara seperti itu. Dia akan mengganggu mood atau perasaan pensyarah tersebut. Dan pensyarah awak kena ingat, dia ialah manusia yang ada perasaan dan sebagainya, iaitu kena juga sekalian sebagai pelajar untuk jaga hati pensyarah. Ini kita janganlah ambil aspek yang pasal pensyarah kena jaga hati pelajar ke apa tu. Kita nanti dulu, untuk mungkin ada soalan seterusnya itu. Tapi yang kalian sebagai seorang yang menerima ilmu, yang perlu atau menagih atau perlukan ilmu yang bakal disampaikan itu, konsep dia masih lagi sama, iaitu belajar. Belajar, apakah konsep belajar? Iaitu dengan penuh sopan santun, dengan penuh hikmah, dengan pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang relevan dan tidaklah menampakkan benda itu akan mengguriskan hati dan perasaan pesyarah tersebut. Cabaran-cabaran itulah yang saya hadapi. Tetapi kalau tanya saya macam mana saya atasi, untuk pengetahuan lah, yang mungkin tidak kenal saya di hadapan live ni kan, saya jenis kurang marah lah. Itu mungkin saya punya peribadi. Saya kurang marah, saya kurang nak macam nak tengking ataupun nak sebagainya. Jadi saya lebih kepada bersangka baik, dan tenangkan dulu. Dan kadang-kadang kalau kalian mendapati pesyarah tersebut lambat balas ataupun dia sin atau bluetooth pula, apa aku cakap ni, bluetick saja kalian punya WhatsApp, awak kena faham mungkin satu, dia sedang berfikir untuk menjawab soalan kalian. Kedua, ada sedikit yang terasa mengenai soalan kalian. Jadi sebaiknya sekiranya kalau boleh berjumpa bersemuka atau satu hari boleh berhubung dengan baik dengan pesyarah tersebut, tanyakan semula adakah doktor atau cikgu terasa ke apa sebagainya. Itu lebih sebenarnya yang manis lah untuk kita jadikan semester dalam talian atau semester yang mencabar ini lebih harmoni dan juga tidaklah ada sifat benci-membenci antara satu sama lain. Okay, saya serahkan balik pada moderator. Terima kasih.
Okay, terima kasih Cikgu. Nampaknya macam lama ni Cikgu pendam ni sebenarnya kan.
Macam sesi luar perasaan ni Sarah.
Agak.
Kan
Tapi
cakap je, tak mengeluh. Dia adalah macam saya cakap, dia bukan mengeluh, dia lebih kepada luahan saja untuk difikirkan bersama. Macam tu kan Sarah kan?
betul. Tapi jujurlah saya sebagai salah seorang pelajar dalam kelas cikgu, mungkin ada tertib macam kelas penatnya. Tapi bila saya masuk kelas cikgu, automatically saya macam akan happy balik sebab good vibe yang cikgu share tu memang sampai betul dekat saya. Jadi macam saya sentiasa bersemangat.
Walaupun kelas pukul 2 petang.
Tak ada masalah. Tak ada masalah pun. Okay, terima kasih lagi sekali Cikgu atas perkongsian sebentar tadi. Untuk pengetahuan semua, dalam ni pun kita ada segelintir daripada audience. Penonton kita adalah merupakan seorang pensyarah universiti. Kita ada pensyarah daripada UiTM, UKM, UNIMAS.
Astaga. Terima kasih kerana menonton. Kalau ada saya pada tahu ataupun buat-buat tahu atau konon-konon tunjuk hebat, tak ada. Saya hanya berkongsi saja. Terima kasih. Kalau ada silap saya minta maaf.
Tak, kami maklum. So based on what Dr. G had, Cik G had shared, we all know that all of us are having different struggles. It's not just us students are struggling. You know, university educators are also struggling. And imagine high school teachers, primary school teacher, I can tell you that they are struggling even more about this. Even I have nieces and nephews that are in primary school, and yeah, I can feel. I was a teacher once, so I can feel what they felt. So once again, I would like to say, I am wishing the best for Cik G to face us for another 3 weeks. So going to the last session for our program, which is question and answer. So we have picked a few questions that we got from the comment box. Are you there, Sir Akif? Yeah. Okay. So there are a lot of questions that we got, and I believe only those who are professional can answer. And yeah, only professional. So is everything okay with that sound? Okay. So going for the first question that we got from the viewers. What's the question? Okay, we got from Nabilah Mazda. Assalamualaikum and hi. May I ask Sir Akif how we want to differentiate whether someone is depressive or having depression?
Okay. First of all, I think it's very whether it's just stress or it's depression. Um, both the person that is most uh, suitable to determine that is a mental health professional. You can always go to see a counselor, a psychologist, to uh, for assessment. For you can start doing a mental health screening assessment. Perhaps the we have the DAS, but actually, to answer your question, actually it's best for you to answer the PHQ9. Maybe you can Google it. PHQ9. That's the screening test for depression, and perhaps you can bring that to see a counselor or a clinical psychologist, and then that will be just a screening test, but it can help provide some information. But of course, we will then do more. We will need more information about your background, about your current situation, about the symptoms. Like I explained before this, what type of symptoms are you experiencing? What's in your mind? What's dominating your thoughts? Is it the worry of the future, or is it the rumination of the past? Is it some trauma that you have went through before this? When did the symptoms start? How long does it persist? How is your sleep at night? How is your appetite? How is your focus? How are you coping? How is your socialization? Do you have social support? So we need very much information for us to help you to understand what you are going through, whether it's stress, whether it's burnout, or perhaps it's anxiety, or perhaps it's depression. There's a series of procedures of assessments that we will need to go through together, and then we will find the answer to that question. But maybe perhaps to give a few tips that can differentiate is to what extent what you are feeling is interfering with your daily life functioning. Can you perform your daily life activities as usual? Can you uh, can you do your assignments? Can you sleep? Can you focus? Can you is your social life disturbed? Um, so if you are really struggling to cope with your daily life functioning, and if it really persists more than 14 days, perhaps there are signs of depression. But I would suggest and strongly encourage you to get professional help for assessment and also for treatment.
Okay, thank you, Sir Akif, for the wise answers. Before going to the second question, another one, I would like to remind the viewers, please fill the form, the attendance form, because we won't be able to produce you e-certificate without your details that we stated in the attendance form. And for the form, you can go to description box, and we have prepared you two links, which are attendance form and feedback form. We are very appreciative if you spend some of your time to fill the form. So moving on to the second question. Salam Nur Najih binti Ahmad. Okay, I know this question. I would like to ask a question. I have a sleep problem. Every time I have so many things to do, even if I'm sleepy, I can't make myself stop thinking as my mind sleeps. It's like buzzing or something. So I think you can answer the question. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So from what I understand from the question is that Nur Najiha perhaps have, I would say, the layman term is overthinking, and that disturbs your sleep. Okay, so I'll answer it on how to control your overthinking and then some tips for sleep. First of all, for us to sleep, we we need to be able to feel calm. Maksudnya kita kena tenang sebelum kita boleh tidur. Kalau kita tak tenang, kita tak boleh tidur. Jadi kita tak boleh paksa diri kita untuk tidur. Jadi apa kita boleh buat adalah cuba untuk menenangkan diri. Okay? So what can we do to control our mood so that we don't continuously feel anxious or trapped in our overthinking mind? Is actually we can do the deep breathing technique, okay? Ataupun nama bahasa Melayu dia teknik pernafasan mendalam, in which actually you need to see a therapist to learn how to do it in the most appropriate way. But maybe during this short time, I can just share some tips. Take a deep breath and then hold your breath for like 3 seconds and then exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your tarik nafas dalam through your nose, okay, and then hold your breath for around 3 seconds and then slowly exhale through your mouth, yeah? Very, very slowly. And do it as many times as you can, maybe 10 times, 20 times, until you feel calmer. Okay, this is this is an evidence-based technique that has been shown to proven to decrease levels of anxiety, stress, and so if you do it the right way, you will feel calmer after perhaps many times repeatedly doing these cycles. So I would suggest 10 to 20 times 10 to 20 times each day. So perhaps in the morning, in the evening, and then at night before you go to sleep. So this will help you to feel calmer. And then when you feel calmer, it also helps you to reduce the overthinking. So it helps you, it can help you to get better sleep. Other than that, I would say if you are lying on the bed and you cannot sleep, don't continue lying on the bed. Try to get up, sit on a comfortable place, which is not your bed, maybe on a sofa, but do something relaxing. For example, read a book. Okay, read a book. Don't do screen time. Don't watch movies. Just do something apart from screen time. Maybe read a book or read art. Read a book, okay, or do whatever it is relaxing to you, like deep breathing or whatever. Or you can also listen to some music, and only go back to your bed when you are feeling sleepy, okay? Because the longer that you are on your bed without sleeping, actually it doesn't help you to go to sleep, but it maintains you to feel less sleepier when you are on your bed but you are not asleep, okay? Because we need to associate our brain and pillow and bed with sleep. So if we are not asleep, try not to lie on the bed for too long. Get up, do some relaxing activities, and then only go back to your bed when you are sleepy again. Okay, so that's one of the tips of sleep hygiene. But if the problem you are experiencing persists for weeks, I suggest you to see a professional to get help.
Well, thank you, Sir Akif, for the suggestion. I believe it's not Sister Najihah alone who is facing this. Many of us are facing this. So moving on to the next question from Shikin Azhar. How to deal with a person who I think we have to answer this question. Okay, it's okay. How to deal with a person that always pressures us just because they think their problem is bigger than anyone else. You know, everything has their problem, but she keeps comparing about her problem. And what is the end? And my problem.
Okay. I think that we need to be assertive in our communication. We can tell them in an assertive way that we are not comfortable with what they are doing, with their ways of pressuring us. We can tell them how we feel in an assertive way. Okay, there are four types of communications that we use. The first is some people are aggressive, meaning that when they are aggressive, they are maybe perhaps they use aggressive words to explain something, to respond to something that are disturbing them. The second type of communication is passive. So some people just prefer to remain quiet, not choose to respond, but they are hurting inside. The third is passive aggressive. Passive aggressive type is those people who they don't respond in front of the person, but they respond negatively behind the person. So they talk back, they talk behind their back, and then they membawang about the person, or perhaps they do something bad to the person behind their back. So that is passive aggressive. But the best way to communicate with a person is by being assertive, which is by explaining how you feel, explaining what you think, using the right wise words, so that you have the chance to express yourself, but at the same time um, um, using the correct and wise words so that the other person understands, and it helps to for people to understand that you don't like it, because sometimes people do not know that you are not comfortable with the way they are treating you. So it's best to just tell them in an assertive way.
Okay, thank you, Sir Akif, for the sharing. So this is the last question. We got a question from Shahirah Mudrin. If we do any test of depression on internet and gain any result, how far can we believe the validation of the result? Well, we found a lot of this on Twitter, like test your depression level, and I think this is a very good question, especially today.
I would say um, I'm not sure what type of test you answered, but in general, in general, it might be a screening test. So if you answer any test on the internet and it shows that you have high levels of depression or anxiety or stress, that does not mean that you have depression. That does not mean that you have anxiety disorder, depressive disorder. We need much more information to diagnose a person, not just based on what you score on a certain test. Okay, it can be a indicator, but it's not entirely based on that result. So it just means that at a certain time, that is how you feel, and perhaps to understand the results better, you can bring the results to the nearest. Perhaps you can bring the results to see your counselor, or you can bring the results to the nearest government clinic for you to ask the advice on the doctor to the doctor from the doctor, and then perhaps you can ask whether you need a referral to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
To add your point, I think there are some government clinics, they are providing the SA test. I'm not sure what does that mean, but what does it similar with the one that we saw on Twitter?
Mhm. The DASS test, DASS 21, which is the Depression Anxiety Stress Scale, which is a screening test consisting of 21 questions, which after you're answering that, you can basically know your levels of stress, anxiety, and depression based on the 2 weeks prior to your answering that question. So again, it's just a screening test. It doesn't mean that you have any disorders. We need further assessment to investigate that matter. So the best way is to bring the results to see a professional.
I see. Well, thank you for the answer. And we have come to the end of the program. By the end of the program, I hope that all of us got sight on how to have better lifestyle, just like what the Akif has shared before. I think they are very helpful to us, especially those who are studying online. And I would like to say countless thank you to Mr. Akif for spending your time and sharing some of your thoughts as a professional. Um, Also, I want to say thank you for the audiences for joining us. And last reminder, please fill in the form for the attendance form. For an IIUM student, you will be given a certificate and star point, and for non-IIM student, you will be given a certificate. And last one is feedback form, and we really need the feedback form because it is for the improvement purposes. And we end our program tonight by reciting Tasbih Kafarah and Wala. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. I can end this right.